As mentioned, is Luke 10:27 a summary of the 10 commandments of God's law. Now if you love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, it will bring you great joy and pleasure to keep the first 4 commandments. To have no other gods, to worship no idols, don't use His name in vain, and to observe the Lord your God's Sabbath day and keep it holy. That is Sabbath, Saturday, the 7th day. Sabbath has been observed right from the beginning of creation, even before sin entered this world. We can read in Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 to 3. By the 7th day God finished what He had been doing and stopped working. He blessed the 7th day and set it apart. He sanctified it as a special day, because by the 7th day He had completed His creation and stopped working. This is the first time something is mentioned 3 times in the Bible, the 7th day. God is holy, holy, holy. What else can God do to get your and my attention? And now, let's think a moment about why the 4th commandment starts with remember. Did God know that we might forget it? To love your neighbor as yourself, that sums up the last 6 commandments of the law. Honor your father and mother. Don't kill, don't commit adultery. Don't steal, don't lie, and don't covet anything that belongs to another person. Do we really want revival, God's revival in our lives? So let us do what is good in God's sight. Paul writes to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 4. God did this so that the righteous demands of the law might be fully satisfied in us who live according to the Spirit and not according to human nature. And further on he is writing, and so people become enemies of God when they are controlled by their human nature, for they do not obey God's law, and in fact they cannot obey it. Those who obey their human nature cannot please God. But you do not live as your human nature tells you to, if in fact God's Spirit lives in you. Whoever does not have the Spirit of Christ does not belong to Him. Beloved friends, let me say it as it is. Whoever breaks one commandment is guilty of breaking them all. We are saved by grace, not by our own deeds. By grace we have remission of sins, not permission to continue in our sinful ways. And God's Spirit will strengthen us to overcome sin. This is the Lord's promise to us, and He cannot lie. Sanctification is His work, not ours. It is no sin to worship the Lord every day. As Christians, we can have fellowship in the Lord each day of the week. We can come together to praise and adore Him. But if we don't recognize God's day of rest, the Sabbath, as the true day of worship and adoration, this day God blessed from the beginning, then we sin against God's will. It is sin to break the 4th commandment, just as much as it is sin to kill. Because this is the time God saves and sanctifies His people. Brothers and sisters, let us embrace this invitation as the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Do we want revival? So let us wake up. What a blessing it would be to honor the Lord as families and congregation from sunset Friday to sunset Saturday. What a blessing to refuse all usual work-related activities, switch off the mobile, the TV, the computer, and to worship Him who made heaven, earth, sea, and the springs of water. If we do this, we surely can expect the devil's attack, for he is furious with them that follow God's law. But the Lord will keep us and strengthen us. He will let us know the truth, and the truth will set us free. Jesus Christ tells you and me today, do you love me with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind? Then keep my commandments, pick up your cross, and follow me.